history. Where's the vibe?
Hello, everyone. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast 2.5 Gamers session number 40, sharing actionable insights, dropping knowledge from our day-to-day UA, game design, and monetisation jobs. Also discussing the latest industry news from time to time while having so much fun, as you might have heard at the beginning. Let's not forget, this is still 4 a.m. conference discussion vibe. Let's not take it too seriously. Welcome, Jakub. Welcome, Felix. And, well, I guess I welcome myself. Hello. It's me, Matej.
Hello.
Okay, so we have full house here. How is everybody?
Doing good, man.
Great.
So,
Except,
yeah, like,
laughing
are
at
the
the
rumors
beginning.
I heard about you true, Matej? Like, I heard some rumors that you took delivery of a sports car cabriolet today. Purple one.
Yeah,
Is that true?
Might be true. Yeah,
that
it might
true?
be true.
Ah.
Yeah. I had to check the delivery man in the morning across the whole Bratislava because someone, I have no idea who that was, actually sent me a Barbie in a sports car. So,
You said you wanted a new car.
of course. So just to give you a context, our dear listeners, so Felix owes me so much. I actually told him to buy me a car, and that's the car that I got today. So I guess no intro for you, Felix, in the future. Anyway, jokes aside, it's been a nice week. So what we are talking about today, so we have actually news.
It's been a while.
Finally. Yeah, it's been a while. Well, of course, I mean, we are here to provide value and not to rant about whatever is happening around us. But this time we might just comment on something. And then we're going to talk about some interesting stuff. Well, you should be here and listen. You will see what it is. Usually Admon, UA, and game design. So what should we do? Oh, well, first of all, I have to confess, and there's some things that we talk about from our UA game design and Admon stuff and activities, and we always try to assume and comment and try to bring the information that we face day to day. And thanks to you guys, our listeners, we are actually managed to find out that we are getting better and better each time we are trying to review a game and try to assume what kind of numbers they see. And then, like, from our recent conversations we had with you guys, well, our assumptions were almost 1-to-1 to reality. So it's fucking amazing. Kudos to us.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm gonna take my little Admon victory lap here then, because
you can do
from
do
our
that after
game
the news,
review.
for sure.
What?
Oh well, you can do it right there.
Yeah.
By the way.
I mean, for our game review last week, Anatoly, who's the head of Admon, at My Games, or what's it called now? My Games still?
My game.
Yeah.
It's still a My Game.
Upwake
Yeah.
me now.
Yeah. He reached out and he said I was pretty much right about everything except what ad networks they were working with. And I got that data from my second favorite data provider on which SDKs they were using, but it turns out they were all wrong. So now the second favorite data provider is probably my least favorite data provider. Thanks, guys.
And also, our listeners are actually calling out Sensor Tower or Data AI to sponsor us. So, guys, if you're listening, don't be shy and get in touch.
Yeah, let me see those SDKs as well. That's super useful. Don't hide it behind a paywall.
Yeah. Also, many thanks to people actually reaching out to us. Like, we like that very much, and yeah, thanks for doing that, because you did the game, we just reviewed it. So
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
it works.
And finally, Jakub is now able to talk to other people than us too. So that's great as well. Please continue reaching out to him as well. He loves it. He's starting to get some friends, actual friends,
He's actually
not the
smiling
balloons,
now. It's great.
and not the balloons behind him. So it's good. By the way, like, why are they actually still there?
Still there?
Yeah.
Because my wife want to still keep them there.
I know. I mean, like, they didn't die. I mean, it's like 1 week since we saw.
Yeah, they're pretty durable, it seems.
Yeah. Honestly, I have like a balloon with like a number 1, obviously, because my daughter turned 1 last month, and it's still alive, still there, still flying in our living room. It's great. Okay. let's cut this bullshit and move to actual
Let's move to
news.
the news.
yeah.
So
Let's
I want to
do it
talk
quickly.
about this one piece of news that I read in Pocket Gamer that actually
Ah.
infuriated me. It's just like, oh, the clickbait on this. And then like when you dive into below the surface, it's just like, man, it's just not at all what the title says, right? So I wanted to talk about this.
Welcome to journalism, man.
I know, right? So basically it was the news forecast from Newzoo that suggested that the mobile gaming market will shrink with 6.4% year on year. And yeah, it's expected that the mobile games market this year will generate 92.2 billion in 2022, which is a decrease of 6.4%. And yeah, basically that's an 11% decrease from a forecast that said 103.5 billion. And then there was a big title that says, "Is the bubble bursting?" And then at the bottom, in the last paragraph, of course, because no one reads all the way to the bottom, and it's like, while
didn't
this
even open
figure,
up that forecast.
yeah,
Why?
and then while the figure may seem disheartening, the game market still generated almost 43 billion more in 2020 to 2022 than originally was forecasted prior to the pandemic. So basically, like, my high school like science teacher would be turning in her grave, because essentially it's like, whenever you have a data set and you have outliers, you take them out. And honestly, like, you can't factor in like revenue from 2 pandemic years, and like you can't look at that. Like, if you're looking at mobile gaming, you just need to take those 2 years out. Like, they're outliers, and we're still growing compared to 2019. Like, things are good.
Sure, but nobody would read that. I mean, this is definitely more eye-catching. Come on.
I just got angry. I got triggered.
Yeah, I can see. Okay,
Yeah.
but what? Okay, but because this is not like a podcast where we rant, but we also provide solutions. So what would you then like write in the article?
I would say
Or
that
in the headline?
I would say if you take out the pandemic years, which were outliers,
That's already
like,
too long, man. Nobody reads long headlines.
all right, fine.
No, it's like, yeah, I would definitely put that last paragraph in like the first place. Like, hey, so we clickbaited you here, so thank you very much for coming to read the article, but it's not as bad as the headline suggests.
Exactly.
Do we expect growth next year or still shrinkage?
Well, I have no idea, actually.
That's the magic question.
That's the magic question.
No, not this rambling.
No, okay.
I think I want to answer that in like after I see the Thanksgiving numbers. Yeah.
Okay. What would that tell you? Like, how is that like?
Because okay, so the world is heading into a recession, right? And what happens during a recession is like usually branding pulls a lot of their spend, right? And at least in my world, like eCPMs increase quite a lot in Q4 because of branding spend moving up. And that's what pushes performance spend to basically also have to go higher to kind of maintain the same amount of installs. So for me, I just want to see if branding will keep spending, because that will determine a lot of the advertising revenue. And I'm sure the advertising revenue is only about 25 billion of that 92 billion. But still, like, yeah, then I'd actually be able to weigh in on my area of expertise and say, like, we'll be fine, we'll get growth or not.
Okay. Good answer.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, let's see after the Thanksgiving one.
Well, yeah, I will ask for sure. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, I might be on the beach after Thanksgiving, so let's see.
Yeah, in your sports car.
Yeah, in my sports car with Barbie. My sports car with Barbie, of course.
Do you want to take the next bombshell, Remo?
Yeah. So there's actually a Reuters article that's been taken by Pocket Gamer, talking about the
everything
lawsuit claim that Google struck a $360 million deal to prevent Activision Blizzard creating its own app store. If you read into it, it's even said that there was a $30 million deal with Riot Games also. And throughout the article, I think it talks about 24 deals with app developers that Google pretty much did throughout the, I don't know from when, but it was said that this came out from the famous or infamous Google versus Epic trial in 2020. And it seems that like this kind of a unredacted copy just got out to the public, if I get it right, if it's on like Reuters front page. And yeah, I guess we're more and more close to this recurring theme that people want to get out of the kind of a store thing that we currently have.
A store thing?
Mate, you missed the best
I mean,
part
walled
of that
gardens,
whole.
Lord.
You missed the best part of that whole article, and that's what Google called this project internally, and they called it Project Hug.
Hug. Yeah,
Okay.
that's perfect. Project the Hug. Okay, amazing.
What was the last shot fired this way? Microsoft talking something about creating their own mobile app store.
Yeah,
I think that's the last shot fired this way. Yeah,
That's not gonna happen anyway.
The thing
but
is,
they're pretty far ahead with like the Xbox Game Pass thing. I would
Okay,
say
but that's not gonna.
furthest in the crowd.
Okay, we'll see. I'll see.
the thing is, Google's king of these deals because they pay Apple $1 billion a year so that their search is like the official search of the iPhone. So
It's
like
Google.
they do all these type of deals. So it's like I'm not that surprised to read it. And you know, the anti-competitive like monopoly laws in America is you can get in trouble if you can prove that the consumer was hurt and they have to pay more, and that's how they were made in the 1920s. So how I'm assuming Google is arguing this is like, well, the consumer's okay. Most of the games on our platform are free. So what's going on? There's nothing wrong here.
Okay, please continue with that voice until the end of the podcast, please, if you can. It's amazing. I love it. Okay,
Yeah,
good. So
we'll see.
what's gonna happen with this lawsuit? What should we expect?
I guess it will be dragged to the infinity. I guess
Nothing's
until,
going to have absolutely
until the
nothing.
enemy
Exactly.
side runs out of money against the monopolies.
It's like you read this and you do the surprised meme face, like, and then nothing happens.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
no
This is
way.
happening. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can move
But
on.
let's see.
Let's move
Yeah,
on from Project Hug.
Yeah, Project Hug to actually what's happening in our day-to-day life.
If you've built a mobile game for iOS or Android, you've experienced user churn. You can win those users back, but it's getting more and more expensive, even more so to acquire totally new users. Enter cross-promotion with Addictive. By identifying your users likely to churn early, you can showcase another game in your portfolio before they leave forever, transforming a lost user into a new user, increasing your revenues. Learn more now at addictive.com.
Who don't start?
So
Want to start, Felix? Nice.
I can kick it. Like, I'm going to be a really quick update today, but I'm just going to talk a bit what I'm seeing in the market so far. We're 1 week away from Thanksgiving weekend with Black Friday. And, you know, it's a very important weekend because essentially it will act as the canary in the coal mine for the rest of the year. So we'll know from the ECPM numbers we're seeing next week if it's going to be a jolly Christmas or not. So
winter is coming.
Exactly.
Winter is
Either
coming.
winter is coming or it's going to be a holly jolly Christmas and we're all going to be okay. So what I see is the Google bidder that I've been talking a lot about in September has absolutely kicked it like life into an absolute new gear. So originally in September, I saw uplift in like 60% of the games I like managed where I tested in it. And I added again to test it like last week and yay, to the moon of those last 40% of the games that were bad before. Like average uplift 10 to 12% on ad ARP now, which is like massive wins. And that's like A/B test I've kept for 2 weeks. And like the biggest loser in all of this is on Android. The Google bidder absolutely munches up meta demand. And you can see that most of like the share of revenue that gets taken is just meta being absolutely demolished. And here's a little top tip that I'm going to give for our listeners. I've heard that right now they are looking for another batch of like beta testers. So right now, so in September, they open up for 15 companies and now they're going to open up for, I think, 30 or more. And they're choosing who it is right now. So, you know, if you're listening to this and you have an Admob AM and you want to make more money, time to start, bugging your Admob like AMs to let you take part in this beautiful, bidder testing.
Nice. Okay.
Second thing,
Facebook is getting right
man,
UA and Admon. Amazing.
Yeah, like it's not looking very good. Like poor meta.
There goes my VR headset.
Also, so the other surprise that's like a nice, pleasant surprise is APS, Amazon Publisher Services. So they always said it was only for banner demand. And I'm hearing from people that have actually set them live on reward and interest that they're actually starting to see some sorts of life and pretty good results also on interstitials and rewarded, which is completely from left field because they haven't even made any announcements about it. So yeah, Favor Fortunes people are just trying stuff, I guess.
Of course.
And here I've been told that the secret is to getting really good results is working with the top 5 DSPs on TAM. So basically then you have to do a direct IO relationships with some DSPs. And publishers are telling me that's the secret sauce. I've just now started to test this myself. And the early signs is that when I've signed a direct IO contract with a DSP, demand from these DSPs triple or double. So you actually get a lot better performance. It's a bit more annoying getting paid from 10 different sources instead of one.
Yeah.
But I can kind of think why, because Amazon's cut when you sign a TAM agreement goes from 12.5% down to I think they take 10 cent or 1 cent per impression. So it's a lot less.
Okay.
And also kind of building on what I said before, I've been getting a lot of questions from people who heard last week's podcast, how eCPMs are currently doing. It's a bit too early to tell. I think probably by Wednesday, Thursday next week, we'll know.
Too early to tell. Oh, come on.
We're a week away, man.
Let's try again.
Let's try again. Okay, let's try again next week. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna try. No, but next week I'll definitely be able to share some stuff, and then I can actually make my Christmas predictions, and maybe then I can even buy Remo a Barbie car.
Christmas prediction? Who gives a fuck about Christmas prediction?
I do.
Really? What do you want to predict? What do you want to predict?
ECPMs? You hate predictions. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I'm starting to get emails hey, well, we would love to hear your predictions for next year.
My prediction is that Matej is going to get angry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay, fuck it.
That's it from my side this week.
That's it. Yeah, okay, so the Q4, as we discussed, it's a silly season for you, Felix, so it's you're
I
happy.
Get to be the hero. I get to be the hero.
Pretty happy now for me and the developers, at least some developers. It's not that amazing in terms of the UA and in terms of the rising CPIs and rising costs for the same players basically. So some of them, you can't compete with the big players during the year, and now you need to compete with the brands and e-commerce as well, which kind of sucks. So usually what's going to happen? Well, even if you get pretty good quality traffic, you can't afford it because the CPI is increasing, and then the payback period is increasing as well. So the smaller companies and some of the companies I work with as well, they are trying to think about how to work with the budgets for Q4 and what to actually do. So they, and I do that as well. I always look at the bank account and the actually cash flow situation of the company, because there are wild ideas okay, so let's stop UA completely for Q4. It's well, okay, you could do that basically, because then of course you don't spend $500K a month, and then you have 1.5 million basically saved from the not spending, but then your revenue drops quite heavily as well. And if you compare, then you will obviously still have some level of revenue, and then that turns into profit, which is something that Redecor have done this year. They were spending heavily, and then they stopped spending completely in August or September. So basically now they're just cashing in the profit, but it's a very different baseline from when you are spending a few millions a month, and then from where you're spending zero actually a month as well. And also you can't compare the quality of organics and the quality of paid users. It's usually very different, paid performance, and the ROAS is very different. Even eCPMs are different, Felix, right? On the organics versus paid.
Yeah, absolutely. eCPM. Okay. So what happens is when you do UA, so let's say you do UA with Unity, or any other network. And then usually what happens is like you also monetize with Unity or any other network. What happens is like they tag the user so they know that this user was brought in already. So they're willing to buy more for that user because they know they click on ads and they convert. So that brings it up. And also a big part is when you're doing UA, you get a larger amount of unique users. And one of the key factors of calculating ECPM is how many unique users the algorithms see in the games. So yeah,
Also,
very big part.
It's very true that also the Facebook VO and purchase campaigns and the well, in general, the purchase campaigns and the value optimized campaigns, those players have better ECPMs as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, well, that's something you need to think about. So again, like with lower budgets, you can expect lower organic uplift as well. And but there's also like very big part of obviously like what also happens when you lower down the budgets. So this is the reverse actions when we discussed if you're growing the budget, then you might see your payback period actually prolongs to whatever days in the future. In this case, when you're narrowing down the audience and decreasing budget, then you're only going to buy the core audience that is interested in your game, which is good, right? Well, yes, but also no, because in this case, you are getting the same amount. Well, you're getting the same players or like the best players, but with higher CPIs because of the competition. So you will get actually less players for your budgets than you would get in January or after Christmas. So what I usually do in these cases, when we need to, think about how to decrease the budget, should we decrease the budget across all the UA channels? Should we just shut down some of the UA channels? So this is like what I usually do. And since I have the list of the campaigns I usually run and the ROAS numbers next to them, so I just list them from best ROAS to worst, obviously. And I look at the day 1, day 3, or day 7 benchmarks. And because you're also skilled enough to know that if you have day 7 ROAS 50%, that means in your case or in my case, day 30, 100%. And also if I see 20% on day 7, that actually means I can get the money back in 180 days or 365. Because I have the benchmarks and I have the data that I can see from the previous campaigns.
So on the same game. Yep.
For the same game, yeah, from the same game. Okay. Because I know.
Asking for UA noobs.
Of course, no. Of course, no, that is good. But this is like how you should always work. So you have different benchmarks for different scenarios. So if you want to get money back in 30 days, that's like 100%. That means that you need to get day 7 50%, day 1 20%. If you have this curve, perfect. You will see the numbers. If let's say you open up budget and you are aiming for 180, same game, you widen the audience, then the overall ROAS decrease, the payback period prolongs, but you can still get the money back. But the curve looks different. Then you will see day 1 10%, day 7 20%, and then eventually 100% in 180 days. So in this like Q4 tough situation with higher CPIs, I would assume that you want to see the money back quickly. So you have enough cash in your bank account to start next year very strong. That's what I usually aim to do. So again, looking at the campaigns, take the bottom half, fuck it, pause them right away. That's just like, it's like there's no speculation. Just if something is underperforming and you have like 10 campaigns and 5 of them is like showing great results and the other 5 is just below the standard, fuck it, just pause it right away. And I know, like if you lose all the learnings, for example, on Unity or Uplab, or any other ad network, and you need to restart the UA channels with the CPI campaigns all over again next year, it's a really painful process. You need to spend the money. But if that helps to get your money back quickly, why wouldn't you do it? And with like this budget decrease, you will still see best performing campaigns up and running, and that ensure that your money is going to be in your pocket even sooner than before, because lower budgets, only best performing campaigns. Well, there you go. Well, with overall daily and monthly, your overall daily and monthly revenue will most probably shrink well, it's no doubt. And you need to count with that for next year, which means most probably like a little bit longer ramp-up period and process for early next year. But if that still means that you will save some money, it will help your cash flow, let's go. I mean, it's a bit basically at the end, it's a business decision that every company needs to wait in. Yep. Go.
If let's say this would be the right way to go to optimize, cut down the crap, and just keep running the best things possible on a lower budget, and everybody would got the same idea, why are their budgets getting higher then during this Q4 period? Which
budgets are getting higher in this Q4
competitors
period? Well, because if you are a big company and you don't have problems with cash flow, then you can actually outbid everybody else. So this is the thing. I mean, if and I would do the same in a different scenario when I see like the CPIs are higher, my payback period gets longer a little bit, but I still can afford because I have tons of money on my bank account.
Okay, so if we're doing like Q4 tips for Megacorp.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, for Megacorp, you need to spend the money because if you don't spend the budget, you won't get any budget next year. Yeah. That's the thing.
So I actually had a question. So I spoke to a game developer who was actually, they're going to be launching a IP-driven game, quite a big studio, on the 14th of December. And I'm like, that doesn't sound very clever, but is it? Like from a UA perspective?
It's not as bad as you would think because, yes, there is a big competition, but then you still have like 11 days until everything else like fades off. Well, not everything else, but the e-commerce. Maybe like a few days after Christmas as well. I launched the game on 20th of December. It was fine. I mean, it's not like the best time window. Most probably I would move it after Christmas, but even if you do that, like you still have the golden cohort. And even now, we launched one game, and the CPIs are like 20% higher than what we would see maybe like a month ago. It can get crazy in December, but from what I see now, it's not as crazy as last year. The CPIs are increasing for sure. There is definitely an increase, but not as crazy as last year. I mean, last year at this time, it was like 5x what I see at the moment. So it's not as bad.
I wish I would have told me last year, like Carpe Diem, Carpe YOLO, seize the day. Yeah.
Carpe YOLO.
Carpe YOLO. Please, yeah, that needs to go either on a t-shirt or in a bingo. It's like this, that 100%. Carpe YOLO. What else you should do, and what I do usually when I have like lower budgets, I usually focus on like, let's say, rapid creative testing in this period. And I know I mentioned you should have lower budgets, but even with these lower budgets, you should still allocate at least like 10, 20, 15% for creative testing. Now, maybe even more, depends. And I would go for like crazy ideas, iterations of the winners, and some holiday creatives. Well, no, holiday creatives is bullshit. So no holiday bullshit. Why I would test it now and like these are called rapid testing, because then you will have enough winners in January to very much bank on and start growing the budget. So that's that. And then what I'm not doing in Q4 at all is just I don't experiment with new UA channels because it's always like fluctuating like fuck. So yeah, let's keep that until next year when the landscape is a little bit better. There you go.
Nice. Next time we're doing Q4 UA tips for Megacorp. How to get more budget next year.
How to get more budget.
Make sure you spend it.
Make sure you spend it against 0 ROAS. That's fine.
Make sure you watch all episodes of House of Cards so you can play politics.
Yeah. Make sure you watch all the episodes of 2.5 Gamers. That can help you definitely. And also subscribe on YouTube and other channels and share it with your colleagues. So, you can get the budget.
Let's cut the shield. Let me go now with my product.
Well, what do you mean cut the shield? We are growing, and then that's only thanks to our amazing listeners. So there you go. So what's
and
like,
the cats.
Cut the shield. And cats. Yeah, please. Your cats are super important. Very important.
Okay. Product update.
Product update. Oh my! Where's your emotion? Kind of like.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on kind of low eye on these few games. I'm still playing Marvel Snap, and I'm waiting for that like next big update. Yeah, the currency cap is hitting me pretty hard. I don't really like it, and even less like I'm playing the game as a free-to-play player currently, and it's very, very annoying that you literally cannot complete missions because you are over your currency cap, and you don't have I don't have anything to spend because like I play just the minimal amount like to finish the missions, which means I don't have enough cards that have boosters ready to get upgraded. I buy all the thing from the fast boosters in the shop, and then like where's my optimal way of playing the thing? Like it's nowhere.
Would you say that it would be
This
better
is-
with ads?
100%.
You wouldn't even be able to watch the ads because you couldn't accumulate more currency. What would you get for the ad? Like the
Nothing. Just
boosters?
pleasure. Just pleasure. It's fine. It's beautiful.
Anyway, yeah, really hoping that this kind of goes somewhere, or there will be some kind of big Christmas event or whatever, some kind of a live ops thing. So waiting
But
for that one.
there was a season change. No.
Yeah, there's the Black Panther, like Wakanda Forever thing currently running in. I guess tying with the movie, but it's pretty much the same as the Spider-Man season pass before. Like, no additional functionality yet. So let's see. But I guess it's like first month, so that's understandable. Yeah. So next in line, Survivor.io still going very, very strong. Check the latest update. It's still no new functionality, but my guess is that they will need to do something. It's still going something around like 1 million a day in IAPs only. So I guess with 50% more from ads or even more, I guess that's still super, super strong. Did like 40 mil in IAPs last month. Oh, really?
There's a new creative. Thomas sent it to me over the Instagram, and it's Golden Goblins, right? Like so it's exactly the same. So there's the main character just trying to get all the crystals up, and also it's the same as top 4 basically.
Oh, okay.
They're stacking everything behind it, and now he's buying the upgrade. Oh, this is amazing. It's perfect. I love it.
Beautiful amount of fakeness driven.
Beautiful, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is that Hordes versus Heroes is still going, I would say, pretty strong, and it's already hit something around like 10k in IP only, which I guess is just like 40 to even less %.
So that's great because last time we talked about it was like 3k a day.
Oh, I think something like 8 or 6, something like that. Yeah, but it's like the line still goes up, and the downloads have kind of stabilized, but still kind of pretty nice. So for a fast follow game here, I guess from a small team, that's pretty good. So we'll be checking.
Yeah, it's still if you compare 1 million a day and 10k a day, it's just like uncomparable.
Of course, but
still, it's still I would take 10k a day. It's fine.
Yeah, we need to look also at the small ones, not the big ones.
Oh yeah, very true. Because those are the hidden gems.
Yeah, and you learn a lot of those, especially even if the game, like you learn the most from the games that fail, actually, like to be honest. So that's the uncomfortable truth. Yeah, the Q4 Liveops tips or prep, let's say. So during Q4 we have the trinity of these nice holiday combos, which is Halloween, Black Friday plus Cyber Monday, and Christmas and New Year.
Before you start, I need to say that the combination of UA and Liveops can actually help you get the money back even sooner. So if you are decreasing budgets, this can actually prevent you from decreasing budgets, because then you are bringing people to the game, and then you're monetizing them right away in their faces with the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Halloween, and Christmas and New Year. So please think about Liveops as well.
Yeah, do your Liveops, do your homework.
Do it.
Yeah, so for Halloween, which already passed this year, so if you didn't catch that one up, this is a very good holiday, especially in US focused games. I would say it's getting pretty international already, so no problem there, but it's pretty good. This is one of those 3 that's kind of more long term, which means that it's great if you have the Liveops running before and after. and Halloween is just some kind of middle period that connects it all together. This is the time where skin, or let's say cosmetic content, works, I would say, pretty well, because you have the theme of the event or the holiday baked into it. So pumpkins all the way, and like jack-o'-lanterns, you see them everywhere. So this is the actual time when the things actually works, I would say, because otherwise cosmetic content, especially in power progression games, doesn't make a dent. As I said, this is a period where you want to have like more engagement. Therefore, I'll be talking later as I finish these about like how to get more engagement cheaply and then more costly during the Liveops thing. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, this is a more of a like offer segmentation or special offer combo, I would say. It goes from Friday, then takes the weekend, and then of course lasting on Monday. It's kind of a short burst. People are kind of programmed already from the general kind of buying frenzy in the world, so they are buying everything everywhere. I know some games are doing like even like 10-minute offers, or like just pretty much bombarding
offers.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think even Supercell did that in Clash Royale, like very like flash sale offers. But a lot of them during the day. One of the things I would be kind of very, very concerned here is that beware of the hangover effect, because I've seen like the best sales in like everywhere during this period, but also keep in mind that everyone can do very, very good sales if you just discount your economy completely, and then there's like very, very big hangover and your baseline goes to shit for like a month. So think carefully what's the actual discount that you're gonna slap on those offers. Yeah, like if you're doing like 600-700%, like that you're already like battle pass territory or season pass or however we call this, kind of a biggest discount on your economy already. So beware, people are, as I said, programmed to buy these, so they should have good conversion anyway. Make sure that you're not cheap and you're not doing the thing that you've done before, just in different skin. Exclusivity content definitely helps if you can afford it. So some, maybe even some cosmetics, but the problem is that this holiday isn't really kind of cosmetic themed. So I would say more of a kind of a good deal or better bargain is the way to go here. And make sure that you run them in a way that, like, definitely Friday, definitely during the weekend. Best thing is to pretty much offer them on Friday and run them until the Sunday, end of Sunday, and then on Monday have the kind of final combo with the Cyber Monday, like last resorting offer. So
okay,
I know I've seen like even discounted battle passes on like even more, like 100%.
That sounds extreme.
Yeah, but the conversion were like up to the roof, So it depends, like what do you want to get out of the
I know
game.
we've done that actually.
Yeah, it went pretty well actually.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah, true.
So that's there. Last things, of course, Christmas. This is the period when every game competes against players' attention. So everybody's focusing heavily on engagement. This, like, already you should start like December, even before December, with these events and live ops. Definitely not go somewhere like 10 plus, 15 plus December. Already make sure that you have stuff running there, because people, take holidays, have time with their family. They're watching movies together, and what do they do in the meantime? They play mobile games, or they're in a car or going to the holiday wherever they go. There's a lot of free time to spend on mobile games by the time. So make sure you have a lot of content and engagement. Cosmetic content again works great because it's Christmas, and Santa Claus things is pretty much being thrown around all the time. Make sure that you factored in the engagement even after the Christmas. So not only until 24th, but actually until New Year and afterwards. So something like 3 days, 5 days after New Year. So the whole live up should be scheduled around 1st of December, I would say, end of the first New Year's week or something like that.
Yeah,
so
like 7th of January or something.
Something like that. So that should be the calendar, not just 24th or like 5 days around 24th or whatever. So that's important. As said, engagement is the king here. So you want to kind of keep people coming back to the game and making sure that they can get something for their buck. It's not like their usual grinding session or something like that. So let me go like kind of briefly through 3 of the events that I've seen being done there, and they would perform pretty well. And I would, I would categorize them in 3 setups, which is the most lazy one, the more effort one, and then most effort one, which is like you're pretty much building a new game. So the most lazy setup, which is very, very easy to do, like I've seen many games done this, anyone can do it. just like
That's what I would do.
it's like few artists, like a few programming hours and stuff like that. Usually, if your game is modular enough, this can be done very, very easily. So what you would do, you would slap an event currency on the current core loop of the game and set up an event shop with, if you can offer it, exclusive cosmetic content with power-based content of the game. So normal content and pretty much, if you can afford, as I said, the cosmetic content. What happens here is that people play your game anyway, and they get some kind of additional rewards out of it. Of course, economy takes a hit, but engagement time goes up. That's the important thing, and you want to keep them during the festive period in. Players play the game normally, like, you have your session limiters and the gate mechanics already, so it's pretty much done for you already, because you reward them for doing what they did before, and then they can just spend them. Good thing is, if you want to be a little bit more greedy, you balance the event shop or whatever, like the whole thing, currency gain, around people going throughout the event and then not having enough, and then you can sell the event currency for real money, of course, because you're not selling the items in the event shop for real money, as we want to go through that currency conversion change always if we can. Yeah, so a good example is something like Survivor.io, which they ran their latest event, Autumn Leaves, I think was it, when you were collecting these leaves during autumn. And again, same principle. Another one I remember fondly was Hustle Castle's Dragonfire event, which they have like even cosmetics thrown in, a lot of power bundles and like very, very good abilities. Again, very, very good type of event, but I would say pretty cheap on like how much functionality you need to actually code in. Yeah, let's move on to the more effort one. This actually takes a lot of effort, I would say.
Well, what does the most effort then take?
Usually it concerns like a special in-game functionality or something that was not there or is not accessible there before. So either some kind of a new mode or a spin on a new mode, like some kind of showcase of content that somebody actually needs to code in, and this is accessible only during the period of events, so everybody's playing like crazy, because afterwards it goes away. Best thing you can do is do it in a template and then reshuffle it later, either in the next festive period or the immediate next festive period, like Easter or something like that. A good example would be, for instance, Halloween mode during Overwatch, where you have pretty much like a tower defense game, where it's still like a different mode. It's not like that big of a thing, because you just created this kind of little bit of a tower defense game where you're defending your fortress against NPC mobs with 4 players and stuff like that. It's not your usual 5v5 PvP, but it still takes some kind of effort. Lots of graphics capacity actually there, because the game is cosmetic wise. But yeah, it works, and it brings a new flavor to the game. And festive period, everybody wants to rest. They don't really want to do the typical grind, but they still want to play your game. I know we done this in Battle Legion when we did like the Monster Hunt event, which was kind of like a PvE functionality thing within a PvP game, where you would pretty much were tasked to hunt like specific, like imagine it, let's say in a Clash Royale, you would have quests for defeating specific characters during battles, and you would need to complete those, let's say. Kind of very easy one. Again, you switch around like a different game mode or something like that. It's pretty easy to do. The most I've seen, and this is literally like building a new game, I would say this is more catered towards like casual games or games where grinding is kind of very, very stale, and like the whole gameplay is like less attention demanding, where you have the time. So there's like lots of timers in the game and stuff around it that you need to click through, and the whole meta game is pretty much clicking around. So I've seen games do like a completely new core gameplay or a mini game within a game. One of the best examples is, of course, Azur Lane, my favorite one.
Of course.
Where they would do something like a board game, like literal board game, where you like throw dice, go around like a board and collect stuff there. When you play the game, the event currency are the event throws. Or this one, like I've never seen this one done anywhere else. Like you pretty much have a coloring book with like a hidden picture, and you collect the paint during the core gameplay, and then you color it in the meantime.
That's quite clever. Huh?
Really
nice.
Yeah. So like, but pretty much completely new functionality, like in an RPG battler or something like that. So this is something that you can build also if you have the time and capacity. Again, best thing, you can recycle it, of course, because you don't want to have like one-time event. But again, it helps to refresh the game during this kind of a monotonous grind of like you doing all the time the same thing, and makes the game better. A good example would be also like Township, where they would have their events run through this kind of event center, where they would have literal hyper casual games being reskinned there. Like there's like a direct reskin of Helix Jump there.
I haven't
like,
seen
literal
that, but
one.
that's great.
Yeah,
And
you can
for
literally
engagement?
play Helix Jump there in a game that's based on timers running out. That's it.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they put mini games in their UA videos and then they put it in the game afterwards.
That's super clever, and you can switch these things around, have multiple templates, and reskin them, run them around, so you have those kind of Liveops things running around for you, and then you don't need to do anything. So that's the best thing you can do. But yeah, as I said, the laziest one, just slapping the currency, is pretty easy to do. The last one, this is kind of hard to do because you pretty much need to build a new game within it.
Yeah.
But if it's possible, it's great because it will pay off in the long run as you can reuse it. So that's there. But the main thing with especially those two, Christmas and Halloween, is engagement. So you want people coming back. That's how you provide more engagement.
Perfect.
Nice.
I guess that's it.
That's it.
Great. And thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Please, again, subscribe. We appreciate your support. It's great. We love it. It's something that drives us forward. So please keep doing that. We're growing on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And every time we hear barking, we know you shared the podcast with your dogs, and they're talking about it. So thank you very much. See you and hear you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.